Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you had a nice break. We certainly have, talking about what is to come, Elevate and Rhythm, of course. We can't dwell too much on the past, no matter how much we want to keep talking about it. There have been some crazy results from tonight's matches. We saw the 7-3 from Ferox in the first one and a 7-1 from the Knights in the second. Could it get any more crazy? I really don't know, Raven.
Who knows? We really have had a crazy night. That first series was quite a shocker in the way that it went. And I mean, the second one, the result was probably as expected for most people. But how close it was definitely not to be expected. And what I should say is lack of closeness in that game.
Sorry, what was that? I missed this. The last thing you said there, Raven.
The lack of closeness in that second game was definitely like the biggest surprise of that.
Oh yeah, for sure, without a doubt. That was. I think it was also a little lackluster going into it. Everyone was like, "This is it. This is the one." But I tell you what is the one. Elevate could be the one for the Oceanic Nationals. Who knows? We'll wait and see. Unfortunately, not the greatest starts from Elevate. They were able to bring it back extremely close against yours truly, the Pittsburgh Knights, but weren't able to get it across the line on Wednesday's Playday. And now this is the team. Raven, I think you, of all people, should probably be introducing them.
Yeah, look, I think that a lot of these names are very familiar. In particular, Vast and God Legion are long stayers within the scene. God Legion very well known for his fragging. Hotshot, the new addition, he had a bit of a tough game on Wednesday, but also wasn't an easy introduction for the poor guy.
Yeah.
But definitely, they're expecting a lot more from their season in Oceanic Nationals. As 6 Masters was really uncharacteristic for these guys, finishing in the bottom 2.
Certainly was. It was not something that really any of us were expecting, especially me included. I had very high hopes for them, and I still do for this season, so I'm looking forward to how they go. Let's have a look at who they're up against, which is Rhythm. Now, a team that we have battered and bruised in predictions, one that we have picked for that relegation playoff come the end of this season. It is, of course, Rhythm, and I would hate to see anything but a good fight from them today, Raven.
Yeah, look, I think it's tough to call where Rhythm may be headed for the season. They did actually have a pretty good performance against Okami, all things being considered. There are a few rounds there that they really could have held on to, and it could have been a really different scoreline. But either way, they have quite a significantly different roster coming into Oceanic Nationals than they did 6 Masters. So it could be a case for them where they could be a bit of a surprise for us, as we've already seen quite a few surprises as it is, Manic.
Certainly have, and you know what, just one more to top it off tonight. I would absolutely rate that. I think that when I was watching in the chat, obviously on Wednesday, Bouncing was getting a lot of love, let's say,
just a little bit
from the community. I'll just announce that. So who knows, maybe that's fired him up for tonight, Raven.
Maybe, and look, I think he is going to be up against some pretty tough opponents. Elevate, they played well against the Knights, and I mean, like, we just saw how strong the Knights have proven to be, so maybe a 5-7 loss to the Knights doesn't look so bad anymore after that smacking we just witnessed. So I think it's going to be a real tough matchup here. Something that is quite concerning for Rhythm is this is going to be... well, they've only had, what I should say, is 1 win in their past 26 competitive maps at this level. And that's a bit of a damning stat, if you ask me.
I would love to sit there and try and sell that the map veto is going to play effect, but Raven, I don't know whether that necessarily is going to be an issue. Do you have any thoughts?
I'm not sure. And I mean, the thing is, like, Rhythm, again, it's a significantly different roster compared to 6 Masters. So a lot of map stats can kind of be a little bit invalidated when you have big roster changes, because synergies change, your playstyle overall can really shift. It's really common. And so a map that you might be really good at, you might no longer be good at. So I'm honestly not too sure here where we might end up.
Their rhythm may be out of whack, you could say, Raven, but let's have a look at where we're going for the map veto. It'll be Consulate, it'll be Clubhouse, Cafe off next, followed by Oregon Theme Park Villa. So we go to Coastline. I'm looking forward to this, in all honesty. I think that this could actually give Rhythm somewhat of a maybe an upper hand. Maybe they might be able to get a little bit more aggressive than their previous match.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just looking through some of these results here. Not a whole lot from Elevate on Coastline. They had a pretty competitive match against Okami on Coastline. That was a 5-7. So maybe that's something they're leaning on, or maybe something that they have prepped a whole lot more of. Rhythm, on the other hand, I'm not going to go through their map results because, as I said, they've only won one map in the past 26. So, look, there was Cafe that they won against LFO. That's not being played tonight. I think, yeah, it's really hard to say where it'll go. Their last Coastline game was a 3-7 against LFO.
Jeez, that doesn't really give us much to go off, does it?
Not really, no.
No.
But I think it should be obvious. I think Elevate are going to be the favorites for this.
Yeah.
And I think the map veto kind of points towards that too, but surprises maybe.
Well, the map may point toward it, but what do the community point towards? Do they point towards Elevate? By golly gosh, they do. That is really what I needed to see, if I'm being completely honest. So that's, 82%. I think that is a fair assumption. You know what? I will say the community vote has been pretty spot on tonight.
Yeah, I think the sentiment is pretty accurate. I think this is a very fair representation. Rhythm, like we said, they had an okay match on Wednesday. And granted, that wasn't against a particularly easy opponent in Okami. But at the end of the day, people need to be convinced about where this roster is heading. And right now, it still feels like they are in that bottom two section. Tell you what, though, if there's going to be a statement made by them that they are improving and better, this would be a big match for that.
It certainly would. It will. I mean, realistically, it is now or never for Rhythm. It's these kind of matches where Elevate haven't had the best season prior and they've, haven't got off to the best start in Oceanic Nationals. This is the opportunity for them to really say, hey, we are here, we are going to be competing. And I've just realized one thing, the community vote for the last game was absolutely not spot on. It was 53%. In favor of LFO. So I do take that back. Community, you've got to do better. I expect more from you. By the way, you can, of course, have your say at the Rainbow Six ANZ socials. But I think that we would both assume that Elevate are definitely in the favor here, Raven.
Yeah, I honestly feel so. They played pretty decent against Knights. Comparing them to Six Masters Elevate, it looked like a lot of stuff had improved. There were definitely still some struggles there, but a standout for me was that God Legion was back in form. It was something that was a big alarm bell in Six Masters. He's normally one of their best fraggers, quite the impact player, and he really had a quiet season in Six Masters. So to see him be top fragging again for Elevate, I think that's a really crucial step for them to be back into that good form.
Well, you know what? We can have a look at what we all thought heading into this game. That is, of course, the snowball panel. And that is an avalanche, isn't it? That is well and truly going in the favor of Elevate. And I can't really sit here and promise otherwise. But I will say this. I sat here and confidently said that Ferox were not going to have a chance against Okami. We were trying to build a storyline for Okami and... a storyline for Ferox, and they blew us out of the water. So this could potentially be the night where this happens, Raven. Maybe the full moon's out. I don't actually know.
Maybe seeing all of us predict the same team is an incredibly bad omen. So if that's the case, sorry, Elevate.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if that starts to actually become a thing? Well, you know what, Raven, whether it becomes a thing or not, Elevate against Rhythm. Coastline is where we're heading, and it is a very dire time for both of these teams. Relegation now being a thing in the Oceanic Nationals. They have to take the best opportunity possible, and it starts here on Playday 2. Banning phase, wasting no time whatsoever. We've seen Thatcher, we've seen Ace in both matches tonight, and it will be the Sledge to start things off.
Sledge? Not commonly banned. That's going to be, interesting. Maybe that's just a pure target ban. A lot of teams use Sledge. Great for soft breach, of course, because frag grenades, and of course the Sledgehammer, along with a great loadout in general. But there are a lot of alternatives to that, so I don't see it being a big hurdle. So I don't know. Maybe it's something that will come back Elevate with the mute ban, I think, is a great one as well, because teams that are struggling on their attacks, like Rhythm have been, they'll be heavily destabilized if they can't drone very well. So I think that will assist a little bit there.
And the Mirror, I feel like Mirror has just been... I want to go as far to say as Mirror has been the most banned defensive operator for as long as I've been broadcasting. I think that Mirror has copped it. So you know what? It doesn't make a difference. We're going into it. We'll see where they go first. They are going to decide to go to Bar, which I think, to be fair, it could start off on the right foot for Bouncing in the team. I feel like I've got to say Bouncing in the team just purely for how much love they've got in the chat.
Are you trying to piggyback on that Cloud or something, Manic? Are you?
Yeah, we're trying to out here, you know.
Yeah, look, I think it's a great site to start on. Some teams can perform really well on this site. It's not very common to be chosen first either. So you might be able to catch your opponents off guard in that first round. It's always a good little tactic to try. And look, if I'm Rhythm, I'd be trying all the little tactics there are, because I think they're just the kind of team that needs to be trying all these little pick-me-up kind of businesses, you know?
I would honestly agree with you on that statement. I think that whatever they can do, any kind of gimmick they can throw at Elevate's way, because of the fact that Elevate is such a good team and have been for so long, I think they've got to take that opportunity, Raven. They've got to try and find the little rounds here and there that could make a big difference by the end of it. So we'll wait and see whether Rhythm have something up the sleeve, whether it does catch out Elevate or not.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's a fun little fact, right? The last win that Rhythm had was against LFO right near the end of Six Masters. So sure, their win before that was all the way back in Pro League Season 11, and it was against Wildcard. Like, would you ever believe that? It was a 7-5 victory on Bank. Yeah, obviously quite different rosters, but still, I thought that was a neat little thing.
That's just thoroughly enjoyable, isn't it? I think it's one of those... It's one thing that we've said right from the get-go, which is, like, you have to be so careful when you're coming up against any team. Like, even the smallest slip could really cost you at the end of the day. And I think we actually saw that. Was it Season 11 or Season 10 where Fury managed to beat either Wildcard or... I think it was Fnatic right at the end of the play days, and cause an upset. Like, it's just one of those things where you just have to be on every single game, and even more so now. Oh, there we go. Ping comes out, and the pre-fire. God Legion sweating bullets.
Yeah, almost hitting him, but not quite. It's some good aggressive entry there from Elevate all across on the office side, so the south side of the building. Looks like Rhythm have just generally held up on site, maybe one room above. Can't quite see the outline. Yeah, it's Boats just holding up with Bouncing as well, with a lot of hit holes. Looks like Elevate are not really going to clear this out. They're opting to take that office side. They don't need to clear Hookah. They just need to have that aquarium control. Right now, that is going to be held by, looks like might be Digital that'll repel up. I don't know, but either way, there's not a whole lot of control they need vertically right now, at least.
Jeez, they haven't really wasted too much time either. Hot shot looking for the line across Bar. Not going to find anything just yet. Smoke Babe to delay some time. A minute left on the clock. It feels like Elevate have made very good timing here. We'll continue to do so.
Yeah, one thing that has to be careful of course, is the courtyard as well. Line of sight into it. And Vast just sticks his head in the wrong hole. Novex is going to capitalize on that. It's probably going to slow down Elevate a little bit, as they have started to spread out around courtyard. Hot shot going for the plant. C4 coming out, not going to hit, but he just sees him anyway, Matic. 3 versus 5 now. Looks like it might be a tough finish to the round for Elevate.
Yeah, that was kind of comedical, if you will. That was unfortunate for Elevate that he's put out at the wrong time, rather at the right time for Rhythm, if you will. But this could end up being a flawless round. It looks like it's going to be as well. Rhythm.
There it is.
They take it convincingly as well. I'm somewhat speechless on the first round.
Yeah, it was looking really good for Elevate up until close to that last minute. And then they just did not have as much control as I think they thought they did. Novadic's just able to play around that blue door. Like if they planted default, that C4 was going to deny it, no one covering. In the end, they try to play into the drone hole corner. Novadix could just peek it and deny it anyway. So I'm not really sure of the tactic there from Elevate. I think what they were trying was just not to have to push out that roam vertically and have to use the utility for that. But I think they kept it too simple and not enough control to be able to facilitate a plan.
Especially when the door was wide open. It was a strange and free kill that unfortunately really unraveled Elevate there. And potentially it may have unraveled regardless, but we will never know. Not giving them a hope to do so. And look, this is what we needed to see from Rhythm, honestly. We needed to see, regardless of what they could do, they needed to pull something out that was going to, I don't know, surprise Elevate, if you will. Just catch them off guard in a small way, and it's done exactly that. I think that's mission accomplished here, and Rhythm need to now kind of work off the back of this and try and find their way into this game and really bury themselves in this first half. We'll wait and see though, because the stats don't lie, Raven, and it does concern me a little bit. You're dropping facts over here.
Bouncing, he's gone for a cheeky little spawn peek here, and I would love to see Twitch chat if he manages to hit something like this. I can see it erupting with emojis, but no, not to be this time at least. Elevate survived that one. Extending vertically, so they are holding down below. It is kitchen service, and you want to be protecting as much of that vertical as possible, because especially kitchen, if you let the attack rip that floor up, oh my lord, it is one of the most unsafe places to ever play in Coastline.
Yeah, I think we've all had a small moment of panic trying to save ourselves and not being given the opportunity to. Regardless, it is going to be somewhat of a stronger, long-lasting hold from Rhythm upstairs. Last time Elevate weren't really interested in even making any kind of contact. It looks like there's only just the two at the moment. Player in theater has removed themselves from that situation. Need to be careful of God Legion repelling. Bouncing, you can see, is already onto it. Does he peek a little bit too far? God Legion, what can he see? Potentially the toes, potentially the body. Does get away for now.
Yeah, Bouncing manages to avoid everything there. Doesn't quite see the top of the head, though. He's just going to keep walking towards it. It's not going to work out. Digital managed to find boats, so Elevate finally with a solid man advantage. And, of course, their first kills on the board for the game. Looking semi-decent now. Still a minute to go. There are these players on site they'll have to deal with, but with that vertical control potentially obtained, no, it looks like they're going to piece away from it. No, Digital is in there. So he's going to be able to displace these defenders, and it might make a plant a lot more doable.
Us as well, obviously, just making his presence known. As Digital just catching the backside of a Nitro. And Rhythm, unfortunately, just absolutely falling apart right now. The second they lost that vertical control, Raven, as you said, it's been all downhill from there. Hot shot this time will be able to stick the plant. No, actually, in fact, just pulls off it for a second. Potentially a smoke babe, giving them a moment to work with. But not for long. Digital will be able to find Drex on site. Novax, I don't really know whether you've got it in you for a 1 versus 4.
Definitely going to be tough. We've got the Monty here to be able to spot this player out. And before he can even react, Worthy is just going to eliminate him. Elevate get 1 round back, and that looked a lot better, Manic.
Yeah, no doubts about that one. It was really on the back of that overextension, if you will, from Bouncing on the window with God Legion. They just kind of lost a lot of control. They lost a lot of presence upstairs, and potentially needing to go for a peek, needing to relieve some of the stress as Vast was pushing with that Monty from guitar. It does get a little bit heated once you lose control. So 1-1. We will see the Blackbeard being 6th picked.
Oh,
that's a cheeky peek.
That is a cheeky pick. And you know what? Like, I think there's nothing scary thinking about somebody that's considered one of the better fraggers on the team. playing the Blackbeard. I mean, maybe they're not going to be as agile, but they sure as hell going to be able to tank some shots, at least to the face. I don't know. I'm curious how this is going to pan out.
Yeah.
I've never seen God Legion play Blackbeard. I can't remember a time that God Legion has played Blackbeard.
Well, you can add this one to it. I'm extremely keen to see what he's able to do. As you're saying, a very prominent fragger on the team of Elevate, not just on Elevate, but also in the region as well. That could be a bit of fun for us here on the broadcast. Rhythm now, they've decided to move away. As you can see on your screens, I don't need to tell you, they have moved up into hookah. See if we're going to be spotting any cheeky spawn peaks from Rhythm. Not this time. A little bit more safe and sound, it seems.
So far, Novaix is seeming to be the hot player on Rhythm. He's on 4 kills already. Obviously, he had the 3K in round 1. He also hit a really sharp shot in that previous round.
Yeah.
So I think he's definitely a player to keep an eye on for Rhythm. Seems like he might be a bit of their impact. Leb is another one to keep an eye on. There was a couple of occasions in Six Masters where he really had an impact for Rhythm as they were Kanga back then. But definitely, yeah, keep an eye on Leb, because if he does get into the game, he can be quite dangerous as well.
Well, live droning, finding eventual success in taking a large portion of the map now. Obviously, Theatre, VIP, almost in the control of Elevate. So they start to edge a little bit further in. 1:50 off the clock. They're not really wasting a lot of time here. You do love to see it. Boats just waiting underneath, waiting for the time to pounce. Bouncing as well. This could be interesting. Feels as though Elevate has a general idea of their presence.
Oh, that was a Mozzie drone just captured and eliminated by Vast. They seem very aware of this flank, as you said, so they're going to progress it a little bit quicker. I think it's a smart move from Vast. He's now got this luggage control, can pressure towards Aquarium. God Legion in a very dangerous position here, holding this VIP cross into Billiards with that face shield at that. It's going to be pretty hard to contest, so right now Elevate is setting themselves up for a good spot here for the final minute. There are players potentially unspotted below though, so that could be quite dangerous.
I would imagine if they felt their presence before. Boats, is he looking for that C4 from below? 3 players now clumping up here for Elevate. Had he been able to find the timing on that, maybe that might have been the play. And Rhythm are getting caught out. Vast is just making way for Elevate here. The hit fire with the pistol. See you later. Leb manages to find the one and backs away as well. Still alive. May as well make his way back up. Cool vibes. Still needs to be cautious of that closer player, but there is well and truly Elevate swarming the site. Just absolutely taking it with no trouble at all, Raven.
Yeah, it was a good call in the end, and I'm not sure whether they were 100% aware of where the players were downstairs, but I think what happened is that they got the info, again, through the Monty and maybe drones, that X amount of players are on site, so they knew, okay, that means there's 2 below. And they said, let's just go deep, because, yeah, if they had just really taken their time around Aqua and tried to plant default in Billiards, they really would have just got totally destroyed by those guys below. So just that aggression to just push deep, clear the guys on site, much safer option. I really like that call from Elevate.
Yeah, you felt the pace pick up, didn't you? It just kind of, all of a sudden, you just saw Elevate just moving as one. And Rhythm will go ahead and reattempt Kitchen, hopefully with a little bit more success. It was not the greatest of rounds for them, but obviously not really left with a lot of options, they feel. I believe they could have gone and reattempted bars, right? Maybe that was just one of those throwaway strats.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I think they also, just thinking back to that last round, felt like there was a bit of a missed opportunity. The player playing in Office had those verticals looking towards the window side of the billiards table.
Yeah.
And that's the path that the Monty took. So if he was just watching those holes, he would have been able to take the Monty out early, and that might have really just derailed that aggressive push, the deep push.
Yeah, it definitely felt like he had that intel, right? Like, because it looked like that's where he was watching as well.
Yep. Yep. Quite the missed opportunity, I think. But anyway, they'll have to look forward now and try and get this round back.
Bouncing. He's hungry. He's looking for it. He is waiting for someone to walk into the grasp. He will surely and inevitably strangle. He is one hungry boy right now in VIP.
He is. And look, I was a little bit worried. Somebody, it's really often, right, that somebody will hang up. Oh my gosh, he just hit it out. Not going to find anybody. What I was going to say is it's often that people will sit on that north side of Hookah, sometimes not thinking about the VIP run out, and it can catch people off guard, but not to be this time. Leb is the only one in kitchen. Drex in service, so 3 off site for Rhythm right now. And Elevator's starting to get some pretty decent control.
I feel like that's nothing new, is it? Feels as though Elevator always trying to either clear the roam or just neglect it completely. Rhythm are very happy to play nice and spread, and hope to God that Elevate don't just go straight to sides. But obviously this time around, it's a little bit more in favor of them. It's been over a minute and a half played. That is a really good kill from Bouncing. That also eliminates a lot of Buck's potential to destroy. My word, Bouncing is not, he's not holding back. He doesn't give a damn.
Yeah, man is keen, I tell you what, but he's not finding anything on those runouts at least. Leb's found Hotshot though. Us finally gets an answer back on the Monty. Looks like it might be a bit more of a rhythm round here. Elevate have the Monty up, so it's really only 2 well-equipped guns at least. God Legion just ran past somebody in lobby. Oh, Manic.
Oh no, God Legion as well being able to dismiss Drex and Novax. No.
Got him anyway.
Oh, that's so unfortunate for Rhythm. They were looking so red hot in this round, and now that's going to be able to be stuck. Plant with Bouncing, trying to find a way back into Bathroom. Worthy's watching from above, and God Legion just dismantles boats. Elevate. Make that look easy.
I think, again, they just called to step up the aggression. Once they were down in that 3v5, we saw Vars get a pistol kill. He must have been pretty close to sight around service door, maybe deep in service. And it just enabled the other 2 to just, you know what, go through Bathroom. We'll just leg it. And it worked out yet again. Rhythm just not quite ready for that step up in the aggression. Unfortunate for Novakes, I think it was in lobby, that was laying with his back to God Legion as he entered. That could have derailed it completely. Another missed opportunity for Rhythm.
I mean, God Legion ended up getting 3 kills in the end, right? 3 of the 5 kills purely on the back of potentially, I mean, we're just kind of umming and ahhing here, but potentially Novakes was kind of covering, quote unquote, the bathroom door, and so no one's watching that. God Legion just walks in and just see you later. That's a very unfortunate circumstance for Rhythm to have been in there, but never mind, pick yourself back up. There's still an opportunity to equal and tie it out at 3 apiece. However, Elevate feel like they're on with their calls right now. They seem to be adapting very well, like you were saying, Raven.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is coming through Vars playing this Montaigne right now. It's not something they had in that first round. I believe he was on the Capital at that occasion, but ever since they switched to the Monty, I mean, they have had the last 3 rounds in a row, and it has been sourcing them a whole heap of info.
Yeah.
It is stuff that you will not see reflected on the scoreboard, but he has just been walking into rooms very confidently and just getting so much info. It's enabled them to make quick decisions, get frags, all kinds of things that are getting them rounds.
Potentially, do you think this Echo could have been brought to try and dismiss a little bit of what he's doing?
Yeah, I think could be a counter. Would argue that a Legion would also be really effective. They haven't brought that, but either way, I think the Echo probably is to assist a little bit with that Montaigne.
Only time will tell. So once again, Rhythm have absolutely no concerns with playing on quite the roam. Obviously, Coastline is a little bit smaller, so it does allow you a little bit of time to run around and be cheeky, especially in the earlier parts of the round. However, Elevate just seemed to have picked the number in the past 3 rounds. There we go. Already spotting out the Monty, and like you said, walking with pure confidence, not even slowing down, and bouncing. All of his attention was on Vast there.
Yeah, all by himself as well. I mean, this is all info that Vast would have been getting. He's like, hey, this guy is just by himself in Theatre Hallway. Let's push it. So it's really proving effective, and he's not doing anything to clear them other than just walk at them. So, yeah, I think while this is being incredibly effective and not counted, I think Elevate are on a winner right now.
For sure, and it seems as though Rhythm haven't really been able to figure anything out. Oh, just not being able to see the foot there. Unfortunately, at the bottom, there was a little bit of protection. But Digital and God Legion will approach Cool Vibes. A lot of gadgets for Boy to be able to spot out as they now start to open up a little bit more. Drex will pop another smoke bait and walk away here, Raven.
That he will. Not quite sure if that's crouched through or not. See whether that works out, but either way, they have some good control here to be able to get towards site. Vertical is held by Digital as well. Really is just Drex they're going to be able to flush out, and then they might be able to set up for an execute. With the IQ as well, any yokais that might be able to deny plant, as long as they're thorough at least, will probably be spotted.
Recently we've seen on Reddit 45-second, 60-second denies. The yokais, let's wait and see what happens here. That's a lot of flashes flushing in here, Raven. 20 seconds left. Drex will be able to drop God Legion, which makes things a little bit more complicated. Led trying to find a different line here with Digital holding tightly, waiting for someone to peek. There's 3 players awaiting from Rhythm there. Digital could just absolutely dismantle everything. The plant's down. They haven't been able to deny it. And you could not imagine that Elevate will lose it from here, Raven.
Post-plant position is quite good right now. It's going to be tough for Rhythm. I mean, it's doable, but just getting clear access to the site is going to be tough enough. Digital almost pulls away, but closes it out in the end. There's a really good execute from Elevate. Well held. And they are on a roll, Manic.
They certainly are. They're not slowing down at all. They are ascending to another level on Rhythm, and there does not seem to be an answer. And this Monty, this will be the question at the end of the day, Raven, is this has to have been done on the fly for Elevate, and I don't think you could really be too much happier with the call to make this work, because realistically, we have not seen a single answer. Monty, every single round without fail, has taken bedroom and then straight into theater and continued all the way into security. Sorry, not security, luggage, and just continues to put the pressure on. However, this time we will see a 6th pick. Interesting.
Yeah, it was a real late 6th pick too, so maybe a lot of discussion around it. Honestly, I think they've just saved Rhythm a bit of trouble, because something that's standing out to me is it just hasn't been a whole lot of adaptation on how to deal with it. Yeah. I think Legion is such an obvious one. Maybe Bouncin switch onto a Legion, or the Legion goes and roams Bouncin, just because what's happening is that Montaigne is getting the info and clearing the roam just so easily.
Yeah.
And so if they're getting goo mines in front of him, he has to slow down. He has to think about pulling them out. That means that the roam clear gets slowed down. A lot of things snowball from that. So I think it's a real fail of adaptation from Rhythm, which would have happened again right now, but we're getting the Capitao instead.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, the Capitao last time we saw it was pretty much absolutely dismissed as he made way for at least some of his utility to be used. So if we see any kind of repetition, as we have done in the past 4 rounds for Elevate with that early control on the Monty, potentially this might be the opportunity for Rhythm to grab a second here. And I mean, hey, never say never, Raven. Elevate have looked strong, but it does not mean that Rhythm won't be able to pull it back.
That's right. Have to see how they perform in their second half, at least on the attacks. But right now it is looking pretty good for Elevate. See what adaptation they've got. I mean, last time they had this composition, it was more so for the Blue Bar Sunrise round, which was all the way at round 1. That was the one that Rhythm did get flawlessly. But obviously outside of that, it's been looking all Elevate, and swift control of Penthouse and Theater has been obtained now from Elevate.
Rhythm are just scared about the Monty. They're not interested. They're away. I mean, I highly doubt that's the reason, but, you know. They definitely aren't interested in playing on that second floor roam. They're more so underneath. Leb, obviously in kitchen. Ambitious C4 will do a little bit of damage to Vast. So, you know, not a bad attempt to start.
Yeah. Yeah, bit of damage. Can help later. Something I'm just noticing again with Rhythm's roam is Bounce is just often by himself, and I don't know whether that's because his teammates can't keep track of him, or I'm not really sure of it. I think it's something that Rhythm might need to be careful about, because like we saw in that previous round, it can be really easily capitalized on if Elevate get the right info.
Mm-hmm.
And right now they're banking a lot on these roamers downstairs.
So that the Mozzie and also the Jaeger. Elevate just looking to make somewhat of a nuisance here. That's from God Legion, actually, just being able to find that close corner. Slowly and surely chipping away at Rhythm's defense. How much are they going to be able to hold when they do start to pick this pace up from Elevate? You have to wonder.
Yeah, and they just don't have a whole lot of control around the site right now, so it's going to have to be a little bit explosive away if they're going to try and get a plant down. Otherwise, I feel like Rhythm might have too much to deny.
Yep.
I think this is going to be quite chaotic, and Bouncing now on this flank.
Attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped.
What just happened? What? Okay, Rhythm have gone off so much that they've had to kill one of their own teammates. Leb was like, Drex, you are doing far too much this round. See you later, alligator. But in all honesty, that was just dominant. That was ridiculous from Rhythm. There was not even a question there. They just literally outgunned.
I honestly feel like it was just a mistake from Elevate to not bring the Monty again.
Yep.
It had just worked so well for 4 rounds, and they looked stalled out in the end. It's like they couldn't figure out how exactly they were going to displace those final defenders / deal with the guys downstairs. And that's what the Monty really assists with. Is he just walks in, gets the info, you can make quicker decisions. So I think that's what they were really missing in that last round.
It felt like that was, again, the quicker decisions was really what just seemed to work for Elevate. Was like, you know, as you're saying, using that Monty to explore and kind of push back the roams of Rhythm. And then if they're not seeing a lot of players on site, they could go off of that. And unfortunately, potentially they've given Rhythm an opportunity back into this game after that. A 5-1 half, I don't know, I'd kind of wash my hands after that and be happy, be pretty satisfied in the fact that you really only have to win 1 round for them to then have to force it to overtime. Whereas now, if Rhythm win one, it's a lot closer than what it should have been. So there's a lot of ums, ahs, ifs, and buts, but, you know, I think that Elevate have played the better of the two, and quite convincingly. So all they've got to do is back it up on their defensive side here.
Yeah, that's a pretty important point. It's all about backing it up now on the other half. And something that happens on Coastline is it's not a particularly complex map for attackers. So something that we expressed with Villa and Cafe like earlier tonight, for example, isn't seriously the case on Coastline. In fact, it can often go the way of attackers in Oceano in particular. So this is going to be about Elevate just tightening up and being solid in this defense half.
I think it was the defense of Elevate from the 5-1 down half on Pittsburgh Knights on Cafe. So, you know, if we're playing off the back of any kind of information like that, I would say that we should be in safe hands for Elevate to take this W here. But it is a new day, and Rhythm, look, they're giving it a red hot go. There is no doubt about it. And Bouncing this time won't be too far away from his teammates. Not this time, anyway.
Scanning for electronic devices.
All right, Worthy looking like he's super keen for a flank up white right now, but he heard all those drones. I think that's something that decided to pull him back, at least for the time being.
Rhythm very quickly dismissing the opportunity for Worthy to still be coming from behind. I would dare say he's still got some information there, so They do play one just coming back to ensure that he's not up white stairs. He's not back into luggage. You can see boats there with the drone at the top of white. So Worthy does have to try and find a different way around it. Now with the minute left on the clock, Rhythm can really start to do some construction to the floor and maybe destruction to Elevate's defense.
Now, something they have to think about, though, is they've got to be able to clear out Hotshot over there with the smoke. He's playing comfortably behind a shield where you would default plant, so to speak. And that could be really tricky to clear out. They have cleared some of the utility, and look, it finally is cleared out now. Maybe ill-advised on that rotate. Very well watched. So Rhythm have a strong man advantage. Site control at that. Could be tough for Elevate on this retake.
Certainly is straight into default plan on bench. God Legion still cautious of the player on Cool Vibes, so he'll find one. There's another fight going the way of God Legion. Leb from above, you have to say, has saved Drex there. Worthy will inch forward closer to the site. And comes the Nitro. Drex, though, he wasn't interested. He was not interested at all. Cheeky little line on the lean does save him in the end. Oh, yeah, yikes.
It really did save him. That was seconds away from being blown up. And look, God Legion, a bit unlucky there. If he'd just gone a bit deeper, he would have avoided the person that had the vertical control. Might have been able to get the guy that planted and then maybe the win. But it was a great attack from Rhythm. They got the vertical control they needed nice and quick, set up the flank drones, they had the air jabs from the Nomad, and they didn't really waste a whole lot of time. And once they got Hotshot out of the way, it was a pretty clear plant for them. So great attack from Rhythm in the end.
You say that almost with a hint of surprise there, Raven.
Oh no, more like
I'm just throwing you. I'm just throwing you under the bus, mate. I'm just throwing you under the bus.
Thanks, buddy.
No, it did surprise me as well that Bouncing wasn't just running around looking for heads to tap, and very calculated. And now, like I was saying, you know, if it's 5-1, it isn't so much of a concern if you lose that first round. But all of a sudden, Rhythm are only one away from tying this up. So this could be a lot closer than what it potentially could have been, Raven.
Yeah, it looked like Elevate were potentially going to run away with it, but no, it's become closer. 4-3, and they've got Penthouse. So look, this is not common these days. There are some other regions that don't mind a bit of Penthouse, but really here we don't see a whole lot of it. So Elevate have got something up their sleeve, I guess. Going to be interesting to see whether Rhythm are able to read this and have a pretty decisive attack, or whether maybe we'll see a stall because they get a bit confused or something like that.
The drones will surely alert them. Worthy on the other side of the map, and you would have to assume that Rhythm are going to drone pretty thoroughly there. He hasn't been checked at Blue Bar. Obviously, the rotate is now going to be watched. Oh, my word. If he'd waited half a second longer, I mean, kind of felt like either way, there was going to be an opening for the round there, Raven.
Yep, and there is the opening there. God Legion coming down the white stairs does in fact save Worthy. Worthy would have ran out to his demise if God Legion hadn't come down to catch that player rotating from bathroom. So good comms or good teamwork there from Elevate to be able to secure that. And Worthy's going to continue the run around with Vigil all the way over on the west side now, Billiards Room. Potentially flanking back down because there are a lot of Rhythm players right now around Sunrise.
Would do some serious damage. Obviously, Rhythm are really unsure of what's going on around them on that first floor. The fact that there's no one there, you can see now after the drone, Leb was able to move a little bit more freely. They now have full control. The question does, for me, lie around what Worthy is going to do, whether he's still over on that western side, which he is. Does he find his way back down? Cool Vibes. I don't know whether anyone's hurt him either. That could have been really dangerous had he kept pushing.
Yeah, and look, he still can catch Leb off guard, but decides to just look for the drone and bail back. Big thing right now is only 50 seconds to go. Rhythm really don't have any control. They're at Windows still. They haven't got VIP. They haven't even got the music control. So I think this is going to be a really tough finish to the round for Rhythm.
And Worthy is still just trying to cause himself a bit of trouble there. Digital burning through that utility from Novaks. The plan is going down by Drex. Obviously has to pull off for a second as God Legion manages to find one. Worthy finds another as Novaks does trade. 2 players low for Rhythm. And how much longer are they going to live for? Novaks chasing as if his life depends on it. And he knows it does as well.
Oh!
Digital. How good is that? See you later, Novaks.
Oh, such a feels bad for the Capital there, but look, it was a good defense in the end from Elevate. Rhythm, they lost out. If they were able to catch Worthy rotating back, or even get the pick onto God Legion when he came to help, I think a lot of that round could have gone differently. They spent so much time after the fact re-droning because they just weren't sure where Worthy went. I think that was a really critical thing.
So, Worthy causing all sorts of disturbances. Continuing to destroy drones left, right, and center. Just create a little bit of doubt as well. A beautiful storm coming together for Elevate in that round. And now,
Attackers need to locate
Rhythm,
the defuse bomb.
they're a little bit more stressed out about this one. Back to Kitchen, or rather the first time we've seen Kitchen now. For the squad of God Legion and co. And Rhythm not opting to look for a similar Monty play. They're not even interested in attempting it.
Just taking a peek at the scoreboard, it's again God Legion doing some pretty heavy lifting for Elevate.
Yep.
Worthy backing it up. It was a similar story for the Wednesday. And look, I want to highlight, I mean, like, you look at VAR's scoreboard being 1-6, and a lot of people might think he's having a shocker, but he was so instrumental in how successful Elevate's attacks were,
Yep.
playing that Monty. And again, it is not something that you really do see reflected on the scoreboard.
Nope.
So, yeah, definitely something to keep in mind. Rhythm, this is dangerous territory now, Manic, if they bleed at least one more round.
Yep.
That's where it's real scary territory, because
Yes.
then you have to force overtime at least just to stay in it.
Yep. Yep. Totally understand that. And it's, you know, I kind of expected Elevate to have closed out that first half very convincingly and to almost have put the game to bed by now. But look, Rhythm are still, I hate to say they're still in it. Obviously, they're still in it. The game is still being played, but I do feel as though Rhythm aren't, you know, necessarily fully out of this yet. However, this round will be quite telling whether Elevate looking for a dominant round number 9 or whether Rhythm will be able to challenge them. And for now, it doesn't look like there's a lot of attention from Elevate on the vertical play necessarily in terms of roams. Obviously, that pulse is getting all the information needed.
And Rhythm is just spending. Oh, that C4 through the gap doesn't land though. That was that could have been deadly. What I was gonna say is just Rhythm were getting quite stalled out about that entire scenario. That was about 40 seconds of Novakes just scanning that pulse and deciding whether they were gonna push through, how they were gonna deal with it. So we're already seeing half the round go before they've gotten any vertical control. And they're yet to really tear it up. Leb is trying to do so now to flush Vast out of that lobby. Didn't get the pick though. So I think, again, time is really starting to play a big factor in Rhythm's attacks.
See as well, 2, potentially even 3 players across toward that western side by bars. And God Legion just sitting on the top of cool vibes. Might be able to cause even further nuisance, but Leb finding hot shot, taking down the smoke. No smoke babes being used prior to that, so the time wasting isn't as prominent now. Worthy will be able to find boats, however, so it does even out the man count. Firepower is still well and truly there for both sides as the 30-second mark starts to lean in on us a little bit closer, Raven.
Yeah, I just feel like vertical control could be being utilized a lot better from Rhythm right now. It's not allowing a safe plan. In fact, it's not going to happen at all. It's all up to Lev. He's the only one that's up there. God Legion flanks and closes it out. That's going to be Elevate moving to match point, Manic.
Wanted to hold more promise for Rhythm, but, you know, by we, I mean you. We were talking about the vertical control and how crucial it is for that top floor. And like you said, it just felt like they had wasted so much time before they'd even tried to make a play. So very unfortunate for Rhythm in that it did look like they were in control. It did look like they had an opportunity, and Elevator just feeling a lot stronger right now and increasing with every round as we do head to Hookup. Digital 6-picking. And so too Novax looking for the Jackal. No, in fact, it will just be the Capitao. Thought potentially trying to rid Worthy of the opportunity to roam efficiently, but not yet.
It's the first time we're seeing Hookah Billiards as well. This is Elevate playing all 4 sites available on Coastline, so flexing a bit of flexibility, so to speak, there. And look, this could be the match. We might not see them ever repeat a side, and that is the strength of having 4 competent sites in your arsenal. Is you can try and avoid repeats for as long as possible. So right now, I think for Rhythm, they just need to be, I think, a little bit quicker and more efficient, and capitalize on the ground that they're taking.
Yeah.
Because in that last round, they just were not utilizing that vertical as well as I think they could have.
Yep. Yep. Well, Rhythm have 3. Oh, wow. All right. See you later, lad. Sorry, mate. You are out for the count. Was that a run out on VIP? Yep.
It was. Yeah, very, very bouncing balls-esque.
Bouncing would be absolutely fuming right now after all those attempts. At least they do find one back there. Drex catching all the way through bar.
Well, speaking of bouncing, he's down to 1 HP. Bit of an off-site fight there. Didn't quite see what that was. But look, that's it's not a great start. On top of that, it's the Buck, which could be very critical. He is a great operator of Coastline in general. There is so much of sight you can tear up with a Buck.
Yep.
So missing that is going to be a bit of a big deal, I think.
Yep. A lot of the presence that you would generally be able to gain from underneath bars is kind of diminished a lot more, and it's then harder if that's what you are looking to play for. But even though it is a 4v4, like you said, bouncing on 1 HP doesn't really give a lot of promise. So they are going to have to rely on headshots only from here on out for bouncing. Any kind of confrontation and fight will not bow favorably to him whatsoever.
Even just Hotshot chucks a gas babe on the window. That's him done.
See you later.
Even if he tries to move out of the way. So definitely gonna be tough. They look like they're ready for an execute, but there's still so much denial and control from Elevate. I'm not too sure they're gonna be able to get away with this. And, you know, mistakes can be made though.
You definitely have to hope there is a mistake made from Elevate at this point. Rhythm with their backs up against the wall. Their first 2 opening games in the Playdays with no victory thus far. Default is going to be stuck on that plant. Arsenal shut down bouncing. They haven't really made much of a move there. Plant does go down, but he won't be able to get away. Drex does fall at the hands of Vast. And now a retake is in full effect here for Rhythm. Rather Elevate. Rhythm have to hold strong. Boats will find one. Novak still cautious of luggage being pushed. Vast tries to make a play, but it's not going to happen. God Legion trying to hold him down, my word. Novax will manage to catch him as well. How on earth have Rhythm made this work? It hasn't been successfully done just yet. Vast cannot catch a break right now. And it looks like Novax is just going to go out and go ahead for the repel. it will be all but impossible for Vast to pull this off at this point. And there we go. The time has expired, and Vast will fall at the hands of Novax. Rhythm, my word, they get the break they were looking for.
They do. They managed to get that plant down, and then in that post plant, really strong crossfire in Aquarium that was held. Managed to close it out. So great job to them. Elevate just maybe caught, not even sleeping actually. I think just the utility used to get the plant down was really effective from Rhythm. In particular, they denied what looked like it would have been a C4 from God Legion on the Malusi. The concussions coming through and then the angle held. That really stopped that denial from coming out. So yeah, great job. They saved themselves in this game. They got 2 more rounds to find. Just really stay alive.
Yep. And with that, they're going to continue to flick through the deck of sites that they can go to. As you alluded to, they've already visited pretty much everything. Bars, with no exception. Elevate are just that one round away. It really did feel like they had the upper hand in that. It felt like they had everything they needed to stop Rhythm from getting that plant down, but nevertheless, sometimes when you tap heads, it can be a little bit too strong.
Sometimes it can be. So, see what Rhythm have in store. They're going to keep it going. They did win this last time. Blue Bar Sunrise. Pretty convincingly as well. I mean, God Legion almost had a solid retake, but didn't really work out. So I'd be seeing or expecting a little more from Elevate in terms of their vertical presence, because that's what really hurt them. Was Leb actually really effective in Hookah, and there wasn't much they could do in Sunrise.
So once again, will they play the one player, in the anchor of the corner? Wait and see. Worthy looking for any kind of opportunity to take Rhythm's attention away from the side, away from controlling the western side. And as per usual, Rhythm doing their due diligence, ensuring that this clear is safe and sound. Vast, however, waiting underneath. Could potentially look for the C4 the second they make any kind of movement. Now with a little bit more vision on top of that as well.
A bomb has been located.
Yeah, bit of a cheeky little 1 minute late Valkyrie camera to go out. IQ is out that direction. They would have heard it land, so I think they will probably find that and get a clear on that pretty quick. Out that pulse of digital onside as well. This is IQ being very effective for Rhythm right now.
Digital getting a fair bit of information. That is, oh my word. Oh, I thought Digital was just going to hit that. I thought that was going to be left, right, good night. And it's not. Unfortunately, it now sits there and resides potentially out of reach. Fast, still watching Cool Vibes with the information Digital was able to give him. Someone just sprinting directly through Hookah and on toward the top of Cool Vibes, bouncing things, chilling out for now.
G4 coming out. Shot just in time. Thinking it was going to miss the mark, but Novax was low HP, so could have been, or lower HP than full at least. So might have been deadly. Either way, Rhythm starting to get a little low on time now. It's just less than 50 seconds. They still have Hotshot to clear out. They did a great job clearing him out last time, but then again, felt like he could have stayed longer. Leb has been tagged up in a gunfight right now. So definitely not as comfortable as the last time this attack went well for Rhythm. They need to hang on, Manic. 30 seconds to save the map.
Saving the map is what is completely at stake, and Drex will step up. A little cherry on top as well, but 20 seconds left. It might not be enough here, Raven. Vast is still causing troubles. Drex will find a third, but Worthy, he's not out of this one yet. However, Novax will come through for the cleanup, and game on, Raven.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We are potentially going to the full OT. Maybe. It's one round to see whether that is the case. Elevate trying to close this out. Rhythm hanging in there. That looked like it was going to be an Elevate round with 30 seconds to go. Elevate had what they needed, but Rhythm dug deep, got the picks, and they ended up winning the round. So here we are. It will be kitchen service.
Geez, there were so many points in which that continued to pivot.
Seriously, yes.
Drex really put in work for Rhythm there, and that will not be understated. Finding a 3K entering the site, it made way for Novax to push through with relative ease and obviously have two, I wouldn't say free fights by any means, but easier than usual. Now, one round away, and Elevate, you do start to wonder what if they had brought that Monty in the last round of their attacking side. I hate to dwell, I hate to look back, but that's the only way you can connect the dots.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think that could have been a round in their favor, but it can be hard to say. I mean, you never know how that might have panned out.
That's it. The what ifs.
We are though. Vast on the Oryx is not something we've seen yet in this match. At least we saw it a bit earlier tonight, but see changing it up yet again. Vast has really clawed his way back on the scoreboard. I mean, we highlighted that his whole attack half he basically played Monty. He had 1 kill. But he's all the way up to 6 now, so really excelling in his defense. Here we go, Elevate. Can they close out the map, or are we going to be seeing OT?
There's definitely a vibe that it feels as if Rhythm are forcing us to OT. Sometimes this is where the almighty do fall. They stumble. Digital just getting away from bouncing, who we have seen time and time again be more than happy to get aggressive, more than happy to hot-foot it into anywhere that is even half safe. You can see now holding a deep line to kitchen.
Sometimes that kind of confident aggression that we've seen from Bouncing can be both a blessing and a curse, right?
Yeah.
It can be really great. You can catch people off guard and just really open a round, but can also be shut down, leave your team at often a disadvantage. Right now, Rhythm only really have that horizontal control from the west side. So maybe this is going to be a pure kitchen play. It looks like they might just heavy it onto site around kitchen door. There is no vertical control at least. So if Elevate do manage to hold them off there and hold that control, could be really tough to get a plant off. Looked like one Rhythm player at least is starting to push towards the IP.
Right now, what could Vast potentially do on that flank? A little bit of damage being tagged up. Novak's quite low. That is a really nice smoke, babe. That will absolutely demolish Rhythm there. I mean, realistically, the Nitro is just a helping hand. That was very well done. Boats now trading out. God Legion does go down, so a heavy fragger off the board for Elevate. So too, though, Drax is gone for Rhythm.
And there it is, that vertical control. Worthy just sitting right above the diffuser, pinging it for his teammates. Also saw Vast holding the long angle from Luggage. So again, Rhythm have just gone go before they actually had the control. And right now, it's a really tough ask for Rhythm.
I don't even know whether they necessarily knew where he was for a second. Hang on, you said tough ask. What has happened there? They've gone in and they've found themselves every trade they needed. Worthy's left wondering what has happened. The diffuser is still down, so there is every chance for Worthy here. Grant is being stuck, and unfortunately, he can't do anything. Rhythm somehow pull that round out and force us to overtime.
Oh, and that shot too through the gap. Are you serious?
Bouncing, dude.
I can't believe that round ended up that way. Elevate had all the control, 5 versus 3 advantage. And yeah, geez. I'm shocked, Matic, but here we are, OT. Unreal.
Yep, that's one way to say it. Unreal. And straight away, there is no questions asked from Elevate. The only 2 rounds they did not bring the Monty were the 2 rounds they fell to on the defensive side of Sorry, of Rhythm. I went to say Elevate for a second there. No. Naughty, naughty, naughty. But
Attackers need to locate.
they're going to go back to what they know and to what has done them well. And I think one of the big questions for me as well is surrounding Bouncin on the on those roams. We were saying he's a very fast-moving young lad, should we say? So whether he will continue to do so, you would just imagine at this point that is 100% going to happen.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And again, like it could be a blessing or a curse for Rhythm. He might open the round up, and it might be able to move them in towards that match point. But there's always the flip side to that. It's just the nature of that kind of play style. So we'll see whether he does do it and whether it works out. Looks like Leb may be getting a little aggressive too, peeking in towards Ruins. Might catch someone off guard. He is hungry.
Hungry like a wolf, I'll tell you that. He'll pull away after a short period of time. Now, not sure whether I just saw that, but Bouncin is the only one downstairs at the moment. And once again, he has to run with his tail between his legs, and away he goes. Out come the pings. Bouncing just hoping potentially to catch someone, and instead he's the one that's nearly caught out. But they've really needed to be careful of Vast in this situation. They do not want to drop that Monty.
Yeah. He almost got himself cornered too. He is absolutely being hunted right now. There are Elevate players all over this map trying to shut this down. They haven't been able to do so. He's been tagged up at least. Back to site as well. He's over in Aquarium? No, he's over in Music. Cannot keep track of this guy.
Seriously, let's put a GPS tracker on him and just watch him. I reckon it'd be like a cat around the neighborhood. Just here, there, everywhere. However, like a cat, he always comes home. Back to the site. Not just yet, though. Still holding from VIP. They're still decently unsure of where he could potentially be, I guess. But they are starting to make their way up Cool Vibes. A little bit more pressure now from Elevate as they'll start to hone in a little more.
Yeah, this is really good use of the buck again. It's ensuring that at the top of Cool Vibes, there's no one playing tucked in that corner of Hookah. Leb has rotated there, so could get caught off guard if Digital is keeping an eye. He's going to get out of there, tagged up a little bit as well. Vade's playing at the top of Cool Vibes. He's going to try and stop Vast getting up with that Montaigne.
Leb playing hot potato almost. Dancing around with the shoes. And they heard that C4 coming from a mile away there. Bouncing, as we say that, does take down Hotshot. Still not really sure where he is, but that was seeming from behind Hookah, and that was Leb. He could drop Hatch if he wants to. There's a fair bit of attention across toward Cool Vibes and just out of Hookah at the moment, Raven.
Yeah, I'm just surprised Elevate haven't got somebody on Hookah window. Leb could so be easily shut down or stopped from moving at least. They have sunrise controls, so not much of a run out can really happen. Maybe from VIP side. That's Vast going down to Nevake now. 3 versus 5 Manic, 15 seconds.
It does not look like there's enough time. The C4 will well and truly dismiss the push from Digital, and Worthy is left with it all to do. Cannot get past that first hurdle, and Rhythm, believe it or not, have taken the first round in match point. They are one step closer here to pulling off what many thought the unthinkable.
It would be the second time tonight, too, that we really are seeing a solid upset. And look, Elevate were on 6-3 match point. It has been 4 rounds in a row for Rhythm to bring this back. Pretty unbelievable. And look, it was Elevate's attack half that was more successful for them. So statistically, this feels like it might end up being the Rhythm map. But you know what? It's hard to say. See what they've got right now on their Hookah Billions defense.
Oh, I love a good storyline, Raven, and this is just getting thicker by the minute. Surely Rhythm cannot make this work. Surely Rhythm are not able to pull off... So, what was it again? Sorry, I think it was... This would be their third win in 27 officials, is that correct?
They've had 1 win in 26 officials. So yeah,
it would be their second
win in 27.
Holy moly. Oh, Elevate. We were talking to them before the start of the season. They were obviously very displeased with themselves in coming 7th last season. And they said themselves, obviously, there were very close games. They were just unable to win some of them. And that really pushed them, I think, 3 points behind 3 other teams. So, that's how close last season really was. But this is not going to be the greatest of signs, especially starting out. Again, I will just remind all of you at home, the bottom 2 teams have to fight relegation, and it's quite serious consequences. If unfortunately you are relegated, that's a whole year that you will be sitting out, if I'm not mistaken there, Raven.
Whole year that you're not playing Oceanic Nationals, that's for sure. So, yeah, look, not a great spot to be. And I think I said it on the reload. These are the games that you need to be winning. Like, if people are considering Rhythm to be one of those teams in the relegation zone, like, these are the points that you need to secure. So, yeah, if Elevate drop this, it's quite a warning sign here for their season.
Yep. I think I will just... You know what? I'm not going to say it just yet. I'm just going to hold off and say it at the very end of the match. That's right. We'll wait. We'll wait. I think you know what's coming, but anyway. It's a very promising sign from Rhythm, considering the fact that they were doing so well at the start of the game in the previous week, against Okami. They had a couple of rounds where, potentially we might have even seen a 4-2 half in favor of Rhythm on Clubhouse. Unfortunately, it didn't happen like that. Bouncing, well, that's mighty unfortunate. That is not a great way for Rhythm to kick off this second round of OT.
All right, so man advantage for Elevate. Half the round gone. Some control obtained right now from Rhythm. It's going to be about Elevate holding off. And I mean, last time we saw them defending Hookah way back in round 10. Elevate had a lot of control, but Rhythm were able to get the plants off. Quick trade coming out makes it a 4 vs 3 Manic coming into this last minute.
Adworthy have not found that. It would have been a bit... Oh, well, talk about using a body shield. That is literally a meat shield if I've ever seen one. Rex trying to take some pot shots. They do catch Worthy out here. Raven, dare I say it, but a 3 vs 3 right now. Rhythm are looking really good to take this one. Still, obviously, the Smoke Bay and the Maestro left up, so they need to get rid of the utility as fast as possible.
Yep, they still have a really strong position here, though, with hot shots. So this could be tough for Rhythm. They may have to go deep, and go deep they do, Manic. They are pushing long. God Legion with a huge double C4. Saves the round for Elevate. We're going all the way, Manic.
My word, talk about a moment for you to step up. Talk about a moment of need for Elevate. We've said it before and we'll say it again. God Legion has been the savior for this team multiple times. And look, we can talk about the support players, the flex players. We can talk about the ability that they give him to be able to do things like that. But it is really executing on those kind of plays that manages to just get it across the line. And that's exactly what they needed there. They needed a saving grace, a Hail Mary, and it came in the form of a Nitro Cell from God Legion. All the way 15 rounds as we head to the bar for the last defense of this map.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Yeah, this is a 50-50 for Rhythm in their defense half. They won it in round number 1. They lost it in round number 5. When they lost it, of course, Vast did have that Monty. He's gone for the Jackal this time, so still going to be assisting with the roam clear. Maybe they are just concerned about the fact that they lost track of bouncing in that round 13 defense.
It's pretty easy too.
He does not stop moving. I'll give him credit for that. So maybe that is just something that they wanted that assistance with, because the Monty obviously can't keep up with a 3-speed defender. It's just not something that happens. Or a 2-speed, sorry, because it's the Jaeger. But yeah, see whether this adaptation works out for Elevate. There is no mistakes left to be made now. Well, you can't make them at least. You don't want to, because it's all down to this round.
On a nice edge. And honestly, you really couldn't pick it. You wouldn't have picked that this game would have gone as far as it has, and you would not have, like, you cannot pick who's going to take this last round, because equally, as much as Elevate have had good attacks, they've also had some pretty weak attempts that Rhythm have been able to capitalize on. And I should also add that Rhythm have played decently well this game, so by no means would they not be deserving of this. They've gone through thick and thin. They were down 5-2 at one stage. Oh no, sorry, it was only, I think it was 5-3. I think that's the lowest they've really been down, so got to give props to them. They've kept hot on the heels of Elevate the entire time.
They have. Yeah, it's definitely something to commend Rhythm on. They are looking like a lot stronger than last season, that's for sure. There are things working out really well for them. As you can tell by the fact that they are 7-7 right now against Elevate. But all positive things that they can grow on. Starting to tick away here as Elevate have obtained some control across this east side of the map here. Bouncing, of course, lurking, and there is a player heavy playing top of Vase with the shield, so a lot of utility is going to be needed to clear this out. It's a good start to get really hairy for Elevate. These gunfights are going to be tough to take.
Especially with your speedy boy Bouncing, who just never stops moving. There's also one more supporting from Cool Vibes. Bouncing's actually gone down. Thought for a second someone may be coming down the hatch as he takes full control of Office. And this is exactly where Elevate looked to attack in their first round. However, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case this time. It's quite similar from the last time that Rhythm attempted to hold bars. Not a great start for Elevate whatsoever. I don't even think he was able to really get any kind of vertical control there.
Not a lot, and that's big because that's really important. If you're going to be trying to get a plant down in Sunrise, you need a lot of that floor torn up so that nobody can sit in bar position or behind pink couch. And of course, we saw it when Elevate did win this. Nobody can rotate through the double. Digital himself was holding that. Trade back from Worthy. That's bouncing off the board, Manic. 4 versus 4, 20 seconds to go.
Johnson has been a nuisance. Boats just doesn't really fire at that God Legion now, and a great opportunity. Hotshot starts to stick that plant. Rhythm, it's all falling apart for them, but Leb steps up. Can he do any more? They're still going to stick that defuser, and it is down. It is waiting. Drex will drop Vast. A 2v2, 30 seconds remaining as Leb making sure from behind. Trying to flush that player out who is just sitting deep there, Raven. This has to be it. It has to be now.
Hot shot. Great prone angle. Good crossfire held from Courtyard. They know the position. Leb, it's all up to him. 15 seconds. He has to push through. He has to find at least one of these guys ASAP. 3 seconds until it is out of reach for Rhythm. Something that was so close. And there it goes. It's going to be Elevate's map. 8-7. Manic, they secure the win.
Holy moly. I cannot believe it took us 15 rounds. Elevate saved all of us. Our map picks for Snowball, that's all I've got to say. No, seriously, it was, you do have to give credit to Elevate, even though oh my God, God Legion.
Yep, big game.
Jeez, for all of the running around that Bouncing did, 7 or 8 kills. It's just the nuisance he was causing, but that was way too close.
Yeah, and look, I'm sure that's exactly how Elevate are going to look at it. They had that almost wrapped at 6-3, and then it came all the way. They lost 4 rounds in a row to be down 7-6. Got those final 2 in a row in OT to close it out, but oh yeah, like, I think they would have been expecting a lot more from this game. And look, it's hard to say. I felt like Elevate played pretty well, but I think it's just more the fact that Rhythm probably surprised Elevate just as much as they surprised us. They are definitely looking a lot better than last season. Yeah. They didn't play half bad against Okami on Wednesday, and You can't say they played bad tonight because I think that was a really good performance from Rhythm.
Look, promising signs. I think that the whole question about Ferox, you know, when we started talking about this at the start of the season, we were saying Rhythm and Ferox, there were no real questions about it. At least one of those were going to be in the bottom two. However, they have pretty much impressed all of us today, especially by their performance. I think Rhythm had a very good game, you know, like you were saying, already alluding to, against Akami. And the fact that they're able to back it up today, this does kind of turn the pressure on for everyone, really. It doesn't really leave a lot to be desired for, you know, the LFOs and teams like this who we know can pull the performances out in a best of one. You don't have a lot of time to play with it.
No, and like it's interesting you raise LFO now because they're going to be in a tough position. They are down at the bottom of the ladder at the moment, and Rhythm's here fighting pretty hard against some solid teams, and LFO just got totally smacked by Knights, so you'd be a little bit worried that maybe that they might be facing that. But look, to bring it back to this match, I just think it's really important to note that Rhythm have stepped it up. I think something that I've learned a lot tonight is that Ferox and Rhythm are definitely not free. I don't think it's safe to assume they are going to be the bottom two.
Look, it's going to be a very interesting season when we look at it at the end, purely because exactly that point, we don't know what's really happening at the bottom end of the table. We have Digital on the line. Let's have a chat with him and get his thoughts on how these guys have just played. Digital,
what's up?
I need to ask you, 8-7. Were you expecting such a close game?
I'm actually just speechless. Was I expecting a close game? I don't know. Well, I wanted to be confident. And think that we were going to win. I don't know. To be honest, I wasn't expecting an 8-7. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah. Look, man, I would love to hear some insight about the stuff that was starting to go wrong for you guys, because you were up 6-3 and it looked like you had the momentum needed and that you were going to comfortably cruise through to maybe 7-3. But they clawed it back. So was there something that shifted at that part of the match?
Yeah, definitely. Like 6-3, like we threw so many rounds. Like there was a round where we could have, I know it was on kitchen defense. We had the man advantage, and then we got picked. It was 4v3, and then I died, but we traded. And they somehow just got the man advantage back, and we just like throwing little leads like that, which got in our head a bit, I think. I can't really remember other rounds. I'm just like stunned a bit. So that's the main one. That's the one that's ringing to me, because I died as Pulse. And I thought they were rushing us, and so I thought that, like, if Hotshot can trade me, who's playing kegs? I was wrong. They just stayed back. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just speechless, boys.
Us too, mate. It was a long game.
Yeah, that was surprising for, I think, everyone, and everyone had you guys picked to take that map as well. Raven, was there any other questions you wanted to ask Digital?
I mean, maybe just real quick, if you could give us insight on Coastline. Definitely not a map that you guys have played a whole lot of. Was that definitely something that you prepped for, or maybe a little surprise?
Yeah, definitely sort of something we prepped for. Wanted to turn that map around. We haven't really had much success with that map, so wanted to turn it around. And I think maybe a little bit of our inexperience in that map showed a little bit, but no, we'll look back over and we'll find out why we lost and what we can work on. But yeah, no, definitely it was a map that we turned around, Raven. So yeah.
Now, I've got to ask you got Akami coming up on Wednesday of next week. You guys, unfortunately, you obviously weren't happy with your performance of last season. In relative perspective, finishing 7th, but that doesn't really sum up the season, I don't think. How are you feeling coming up against Akami, one of the teams that, were really surging toward the end of last season?
Just like any other game, pretty much. We'll just like go in it. We obviously Akami are a good team. What makes them so good is they'll just find picks. They'll really aggro and they'll get that pick and they'll play really passive after that. So just like, just got to strategy and structure, play safe. And hopefully we can take it to them and get the W there. So yeah, just take it each game by game sort of thing. Just treat every single opponent with respect. Yep.
Well, I couldn't have said it any better myself, mate. So thank you very much for chatting with us. Congratulations on your win, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, boys. Cheers for the cast.
Ciao, mate. Okay, so I mean, it's good to know that they wanted to go to Coastline because they're not good. I would assume they wouldn't go there if it was a team that's not Rhythm. I would say that they've taken the advantage to go there with Rhythm, and potentially that could have been a very detrimental choice, if you will, Raven.
Yeah, it could have panned out poorly. I mean, it looks like that map is not too bad for Rhythm, so something other teams can note in the future. And that's the tough thing about prepping for Rhythm, in that they have changed so much. They are really such a different team compared to last season, both in the players and just the way that they play looks very different. So it's going to be hard to prep for them, I think, as the season progresses, because they'll uncover maps that you might have thought they were bad at, but maybe they've improved on a lot, or it just gels really well with their playstyle.
And I do think that, you know, like as much as we are giving the credit to Rhythm, it looked like Elevate were, especially in the first half, adapting really well to a couple of things that Rhythm were really bringing to them. And whether, you know, like in the second half, it was miscommunication or potentially they just got flustered. I mean, we all know that can happen, right? It's coming down to the wire and you feel like you just have such a big advantage that you can't simply throw away, and things start to go a little bit wrong. It just starts to, starts going down a little bit more. Let's try not to throw the microphone across the other side of the room, shall we? But definitely, I think that we should be taking away the positives for Elevate, which is they did have a good attacking side and were able to capitalize on some mistakes that Rhythm were making.
Totally, and I think in terms of adaptation, if you talk about that, Elevate were probably the better team in terms of adaptation.
Yeah.
Particularly in that first half, they got that Monty out to obviously deal with something in particular. There must have been a trigger for it, and it works. And they continued to use that. They were just looking at what Rhythm were doing, and Rhythm were failing to adapt to that Monty play.
Yeah.
We've said it before. Like if Elevate just brought Monty the whole time, I think they could have almost gone a flawless half.
Yeah.
Just because Rhythm they weren't bringing anything to do with it.
Well, you know what? We can actually ask some questions about that. We've got Yoshi on the line, so I think that might be the first question. Yoshi, it's good to see you again, my friend. It's been a whole season since I saw you last. You handsome young lad. Now, I need to ask you. We've been talking about the Monty that Elevate were bringing in that first half. You know, I think it was from round 2 to round 5. Let's say. Did you guys have significant problems trying to deal with that?
I think the first round, yes. We probably just didn't expect them to bring the Monty because it's generally not something that we see from them. But then after that, I think it more came down to how we played against him, with us kind of getting a little bit flustered from him pushing into us. The kitchen round, when it was, I think we had the advantage, and Drex just got a little bit flustered at the end there. So I think that just came from a little bit of inexperience with those defense rounds. But I don't think it was too big of a deal with the Monty, to be honest, in the end.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I'm going to speak a little bit more broadly. Coming from last season, obviously wasn't too great for you guys, and you've come into this season with a pretty refreshed roster. What is the feeling right now? I mean, this was a really good match for you guys, although you didn't get the points. That was a really solid effort. So what is the team vibe at the moment with how things are progressing?
Obviously it's it's a little bit fresh at the moment, so you know, a few players are a bit down, but I think after we've kind of taken it all in from tonight, and how much we stepped up from Wednesday's game, I think, you know, people are going to be feeling a lot better about themselves, especially in comparison to where we were sitting at this point in the season last season. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see where we go from here, and I'm looking forward to hopefully the boys just continuing to work on their mistakes, you know, learning from each game and taking it from there.
Raven, any final questions?
I'm all good.
Beautiful. I have one question to ask. Was Spruce the problem?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. No, it's definitely been pretty tough to fill Spruce's shoes, and it's taken a bit of a roster kind of not roster shuffle, sorry, just like how we played the game. So Leb's obviously moved on to the soft breach, and Bouncing's come in on the entry, And then Nove's moved to IQ and Drex is on the hard breach. So definitely a lot of position changes. But we're still trying to find our footing. But I think, this is only the beginning and it's going to be good from here, So Spruce was not the problem.
I'm disappointed that you've said something nice about him. I'm absolutely devastated, Yoshi. But no, seriously, mate, it looks like you guys have really stepped it up a gear, and I think that you are to be commended for that. So I'm very much looking forward to the rest of the season for you guys. You've got surprises in store for us, no doubt. So we'll see you next Wednesday.
Thanks, gents. Have a good one.
Yep. Pretty positive across the camp there. Spruce was 100% the problem. I don't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The coach of the team just...
Jeez, buddy. Jeez.
You got to go in. You got to go in.
Yeah, look, I think it was pretty much the things he said is stuff to be expected, and it seems like, they've got some fresh players, not just to their roster, but to competitive play at this level, and that can be a tricky adjustment sometimes. So it was really good to hear his points about flustering, because as stuff that we will never know, sometimes it's not obvious when you're looking at somebody's point of view if they're flustered or not. Yeah. And that can, it can be a big factor. Like if you come down to crunch moments, like 10 seconds where it's like 2v2s, if just one person gets flustered, it can cost you the round. I think that's a really good point to bring up, and it can be a significant factor. But yeah, I think Rhythm are starting to build into a competitive team for Oceanic Nationals.
Well, I really hope that they can stick around and continue to push the teams above them at the moment, because, as we said, relegation is just around the corner. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a banger tonight, and guess what? It's only going to get more intense. A barn burner after the break. Wildcard up against Noble. See you then.
Attackers are activating the bomb.
Loading mag!